We are promoting IFA, Orisa-Egun culture by our expressions, the way how we want to live. I mean, there has been so much fighting going on all over the world about who practice this and who don't practice that, who practicing Christianity and who doing this and who doing that. But I'm going to discuss some of these different forms of IFA-ORISA-EGUN worship as we go along, right after I take this first caller. Thank you very much. Good evening. You're on True Talk with OFAE. Would you like to speak?
Yes. How are you this evening?
I am very well, thank you. How are you?
I am doing just great. Now, everything what you're saying, it sounds so lovely and so beautiful, I must say. However.
Thank you.
It doesn't even, I'm not going to even say people of color, because this is something that affects everyone across the board, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I feel as though it's hard I understand how important it is that we remember our ancestors and our roots so we'll know where we come from, so we'll know where we're going. However, we're dealing with a society of young people that really don't understand the significance of what you're saying. And that's where it all begins. Some family members, if the grandparents leave a house behind or the parents leave a house behind, they won't even pay the property taxes just to keep the house. And the house is paid for free and clear, and the only thing they have to do is pay the property taxes, and family members don't even want to do that. And that's a part of our, that's a part of our ancestor lineage, because our ancestors, they lay foundations for us, and it's left up to us whether we preserve them or we let them fall to the wayside. That's all I wanted to say. But like I say, sometimes what we say as individuals is more easier said than done.
I understand you quite well. And I feel that this is why we should promote our way of life more, not to keep it as private, because I think with practice makes perfect, with practice makes perfect. And I realized something about young people. Young people like to party. They like to think everything is fun, meaning, if it's not fun, they don't want to partake in it. They don't want to do it. Some of them, if it's something serious that is going to entail a lot of work, then they don't want to partake in it. But if it's fun, if it comes off as being fun to them, they would quickly get with the program. They will get with the program. So it's a kind of mental, psychological thing that you have to do with young people in order for them to understand. But the more we promote IFA and Orisa-Egun lifestyle openly, it becomes normal. It becomes normal for people to say, you don't have to continue to explain to them what is Orisha. You don't have to continue to explain to them, how important the ancestors are. You don't have to continue, doing all these things. You see, when we talk about ancestors now, one of the very basic things is to at least try to find out, what were their names when you want to call them in prayer. A lot of people don't know the names of their ancestors. At least that is the basic. Know the names, and try to find out from other elders, older people in your family, who these people were, how they were, how did they live, because a lot of times young people come to embrace African spirituality, and it's because their ancestors are pushing them to do that. And sometimes they realize that they have gifts. They have, a lot of things that they can do, or certain things happen to them. They dream this and all this type of stuff, and they don't know why. Most time it's their ancestors, that are pushing them to do these things and to walk this path. And then when they turn around, they need to learn how to communicate with their ancestors, how to get all of these things together, one by one. And the more, I say, practice makes perfect. The more they do it, the more, it becomes normal, just like anything in life. So, yeah, because, we can just pick up a phone. If somebody dies tomorrow, you pick up the phone, call James Weeks Funeral Home, for example. James Weeks say, okay, I'm going to take care of the body, blah, 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 blah. But we can't pick up the phone and call, IFA-ORISA-EGUN to our funeral home, because there's none. You see what I mean? So, or bury them in IFA-ORISA-EGUN cemetery, just like how they have the Jewish cemetery. You know what I mean? You see? So we still, we're not involving the whole IFA-ORISA-EGUN practice into the whole part of our life, into every aspect of our life. That's the most important thing. But let's get back to talking about celebrations. You're listening to True Talks with OFAE. And we're talking about promoting the goodness of IFA-ORISA-EGUN worldwide. Okay? That's what we're talking about here. All right. So one of the offshoots of African spirituality is called Candomblé. That's another one. We spoke briefly about Santeria, and now we're going to talk about Candomblé. And Candomblé literally means dance in honor of the gods. Okay? And it's an African-oriented or Afro-Brazilian religion that's practiced mainly in Brazil. Okay? By the what is called Povo de Santo, people of the saints. And it is a mixture of traditional Yoruba, Fon, and Bantu beliefs, which originated from different regions in Africa. Okay? It has also incorporated some aspects of Catholicism, okay, over time. So it was officially originated in Salvador and Bahia at the beginning of the 19th century, when the first Candomblé temple was founded. But it traces back to the earliest days of slave trade, when enslaved Africans brought their beliefs with them when they were shipped from Brazil. Although Candomblé now is practiced primarily in Brazil, it is also practiced in other countries, including Uruguay, Argentina, Venezuela, Colombia, and it's also practiced in, of all places, Benin, West Africa, where they have a small community there of Candomblé worshippers in Benin, in West Africa, okay? So you see, we're all over the place, but Orisha is the mainstay. So in Candomblé, you have 2 million followers. That's a lot of people. Okay? We have 2 million followers. All right? Then we have this religion, again, is derived from the traditional, African traditional religions and beliefs and practices. So that's the main part of it. Okay? Okay? It was developed in Brazil with the knowledge of African priests who were enslaved and brought to Brazil, together with their methodology, their culture, and their language. All this took place between 1549 and 1888, and it is an oral tradition, and therefore, they don't have the Holy Scriptures, like IFA, like that is now coming out of Nigeria, where you have the Holy Scriptures, the Holy Odus that are being written now and published. So the practitioners of Candomblé believe in one all-powerful God called Olodumare, and who is served by lesser deities which are called Orishas. Okay, and that's spelled Orixas. Okay, Orishas. It's just different ways to spell it. Is Orisha. That's how they usually spell it in Nukumi, with so for English pronunciation. And then in Nigeria, it's spelled Orisa, and that's with the dot under the S. Okay, so we have Orishas there. So Candomblé practitioners believe that every person has their own personal Orisha, and it's the same for the Yoruba people. Well, not so much the Yoruba, because the Yoruba believe there are different Orishas, and you can be crowned with different Orishas. So, but in Candomblé, they believe that you have your own personal Orisha, which controls your own destiny, and these Orishas act as your protectors. Okay, so they have music and dance, and they have their expressions. As part of their ceremonies, they do dance, and through dance and worship and prayers, this is how the worshippers are possessed by the Orishas. Okay, the rituals also involve offerings from, they have, animal kingdom, mineral kingdom also, and plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom, and vegetable. Okay, so the concept of good and bad exists in Candomblé. So we have these things in life and this is why we are saying let's focus on promoting the good, because in all things in life there is good and bad, and even though we have a lot of bad things happening, people doing a lot of bad stuff, we still have the goodness of Orisha to be thankful for. Okay? In one of the very most popular ways that they help to promote and spread the awareness of IFA, Orisha, and Egun in Brazil is in their annual ceremony to Yamaya, which Yamaya is celebrated as a deity of the ocean. So they have this celebration every year in Rio de Janeiro, okay? And it's based on, honoring the deity, asking for good health, asking for, children, asking all the good things in life. They're showing that, okay, we're honoring you, and they expect to get all of these things in return, good blessings, okay? So they go, we have millions of people, okay, that go to the shores in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, and place candles, flickering candles in the trenches, and offer flowers and all of these things to the Orishas in a big celebration. Of course, they have many altars and food and all of this stuff there. So it's really a spectacular thing to see. All of these people doing that. It's somewhat equated to when they have the big Oshun festival in Oshogbo in Nigeria, where so many people gather at the river to praise Goddess Oshun, my yeye. So these are one part